Hi, my name is Russ. I'm going to show you how to build batteries out of these flat pack batteries that you can get from batteryhookup.com. So you put them together in, I put them together in 5S packs like this. So you connect, negative to the positive on another one, and you just kind of, flip them over so that negative again is connected to positive, and the voltage just keeps adding up as you get more packs. So I use these 5-cell packs and put them in series, so I end up with 15 cells in series, and I can go about probably 30 miles on this set of batteries. So let me show you my original solution. I had these 5 amp hour batteries that I bought, which compared to these are 8 amp hour batteries. Probably they say they can get up to like 9 amp hours, so 8 to 9 amp hour batteries relative to these 5 amp hour batteries. Now you could buy this and it's easy, but it's more expensive, or you can build this and it's harder to build, of course, but it's cheaper, and these put out tons of energy. So if you have an application that needs a lot of energy quickly, that's a good way to go. So my original setup was using a bunch of 4S batteries in series. Sorry, these are all in parallel, and then I put them in series with 2 of these 5S packs. So I had 14S total, and that was doing the job, but I wanted more capacity, and I didn't want to pay too much, so I built these. So I learned the hard way that you want to protect your joints here, where I've connected the 2 battery cells together with nuts and bolts. You want to protect those with extra insulation. So I put what's it called, electrical tape over each of those, as you can see here. When I didn't have that on, it actually shorted. When I just had the the yellow tape, it went right through it. So yeah, respect the electricity in these things, because there's a lot. You need to have a heavy duty connection. You can see that. Let's see here. You can see that wire that's connected to a paper clip. That would not be nearly enough to handle that current. So all that's for is to detect the voltage for the balance charger, but otherwise, that's not adequate for transferring, the amount of electricity in this thing. Now you'll see I'm putting on the double-sided tape, and that just kind of holds it. I actually messed up on this layer. I placed the next cell before I covered the previous connection with yellow tape. I only did the electrical tape, as you can see there, but I went back and did it afterward. This shows you that you want to be careful when you place it, because if you lay it down and it's a little bit wrong, that double-sided tape will stick real hard. It's really hard to get it pulled back apart. Actually messed up one of my cells once, because I actually put a knife there, to try to cut it, and that was a really bad idea. I ended up having to buy another cell because I ruined that cell because I punctured it and wrecked the vacuum. Now I did find that the best way to disconnect 2 cells that are connected by a double-sided tape, you can just rotate the cell really slowly. Rotate one, hold one steady and rotate the other, I guess, and the tape will eventually come loose. I actually successfully did that once. So as you can see, I'm putting the nuts and bolts together like this. I'd attempted to do this the first time before I bought the nuts and bolts with just a paper clip to hold them together, and that was not near enough. It just kind of melted the paper clip, so don't try that. So you can see I'm just making sure they're tight. So there's the paper clip that I'm only using to make the connection to the wire that leads to the balance leads. I actually used the what do you call it, DuPont connectors, just to make it easy to well, for one, to connect to the balance charger before I bought the proper balance leads, but also on the one end it had what do you call it, a piece of metal that allowed me to just easily solder it to the paper clip instead of having to strip the wire and solder the wire to the paper clip. So I think you get the idea of how you do each layer. Here I'm having to go back and fix that layer that I did wrong. It's harder to put the tape in if you forget, because you have to tuck it down between them, and if it's on the top, it's easy, but you can see this, I'm having to sort of tuck it down in there, which is a pain in the butt. This is the right thing to do. You put the tape on after you've put the tape on when it's on the top layer, basically. Makes it much easier. Yeah, at this point you just keep repeating the process. You put the double-sided tape down. You connect the ends. Just repeat. And don't forget to put your balance lead on. I've forgotten that a couple times too. So this is how I connect the two ends of the battery to the heavier duty wire. I solder the wire to the washer that I use, and then I use a nut and bolt to connect it to the end. Seems to work well and give you a solid connection. The ends also need the balance leads connected, so you just put it in there, and next I'll put a piece of tape over all this to keep it in place. This electrical tape is just for insulation, to make sure that there's no short between this cell and the next cell. This yellow tape holds that paper clip in place, and the balance lead wire. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about how to charge these batteries. Here they are in my e-bike. I built this cable here that connects them all in series. So you know, the voltage of each of these batteries gets added up to total, you know, 50 something volts. So if I take all these guys, the main leads, and connect them to my balance board, I can charge, you know, the batteries that way. But if I want to balance charge them, I need to also connect the balance leads. Oops. So that's these guys. So they connect into, you know, any of these balance leads that fit, right? These are 5S batteries, meaning they have 5 cells, and so I bought, you know, a 5S balance lead, and I'll show you in a second how to connect those, or how to wire them to your battery. So these guys can just connect to any of the 5S connectors on the balance board. One more. Okay, so now that's all connected. We've got the main leads and the balance leads connected. Notice I connected the main leads first. That's because basically as soon as you connect them, they start balancing each other out. Like if this pack has more voltage than this pack, then it'll start transferring current from, or you know, electricity from this battery to this battery to even it out. And you want that to happen over the heavier duty wires rather than over these you know, light duty wires. These are meant to just detect the what do you call it? To detect the voltage of each cell. Now here's another battery. So these battery leads, these 5S leads, have a red, and then the rest are black, right? So the red goes to the positive end of the battery, and then let's see here. Yeah, so the batteries go like this is not the start of it. This is the negative part. I can just feel that because this doesn't have. Let's see. This doesn't have a bolt, nut and bolt connection because it's not connecting two batteries together. So this is one end, and then this is the other end. And notice I labeled it, you know, positive, just so I could make sure I knew that this is, you know, the end of the battery, because the battery goes like, you know, this cell, and then the next cell, and then the next cell, then the next cell. You know, it kind of zigzags through the battery. So in these balance leads, you know, this red needs to connect to this end of the battery, because that's the you know, that's the positive end of the battery, so it should be red. And then the next black in line should be on the opposite side of that same cell right here. And then, you know, it zigzags to this next cell here, so the next black should be, you know, this, you know, the third wire, the second black, should then be connected to, you know, this I guess the metal in here, the metal that connects these two batteries or cells together. And so you get the idea. You know, the current zigzags through this battery. So on each side, each time you go to the opposite side, you connect another one of these black wires until this last black should connect to the, you know, the negative end of the battery. Alright, so that's how those are connected to the batteries, or, you know, the battery cells. And the reason I can connect, you know, these 5S leads to any of these connections, like I can move this from here to there and it wouldn't make any difference. It's because they're effectively you know, all these wires, let's see, all these pins, I should say, in this connector are connected to the same you know, metal, I guess, in this balance board as those other pins, right? So like this pin in this row is all the same. The first pin, I mean, the first pin in each of these connections are connected, right? And then the second pin in each of these is also connected. So and then eventually connects to those same, corresponding pins in the charger. So then the overall, the large connection to your charger, the heavier duty, wires go through a Dean's or generally it's a Dean's connection. That's what this is, and I like Dean's because it's easy to pull it apart and push it back together. It's a little easier than XT60. So first, to start out, generally I would recommend balance charging, but you can also just charge. And notice I have it on 5S, which dictates the voltage. But yeah, if you do just charge, what you're doing is not connecting your balance leads. But the risk with just charging is that you're going to get unbalanced. What do you call them? Each of the cells in your battery. Like this cell might have more voltage than this cell, and this cell might have more voltage than that, and so they're unbalanced. But if you use the balance leads and use the balance mode here, then it will balance out the cells. Notice this charger is 10 amps. This is actually an upgrade from my 5 amp charger, so it can actually charge these faster. And because these are, 8,000 milliamp hour or 8 amp hour cells, you can charge this at 8 amps. So, and because I'm charging 3 of them at a time, I could charge at 3 times 8. What is that? That's 24, right? Which this charger can't do that much, so I might as well just put it at 10 amps so it can go as fast as this charger can go. So let's see here. If I put it at balance charge, that's what I normally do, and then you press basically the play button. It's a little play, and then it checks out your batteries to make sure everything's okay, and then enter, which is this play button again, gets it going. And you can see the current amperage that it's drawing. I don't know if you can see that. Let me move this a little bit. Yeah, 7.3 amps. And then if I hit plus, you can see how many volts are in each cell right now. And I can flip back to amps, right? And how much voltage overall is there. So I'll just leave this charging for a while, and I can ride my bike later. Or I could, these are already charged, I could ride it right now. But that's my charging process.